show they all want to come to. It's the show they all want to judge at. It's the one they've heard so much about. So, and we're sitting there quite smugly going, we're here every year.
Presumably during your showing career, you must have brought home, I presume, a red rosette or more from the Highland Show, did you?
I've been very lucky. I think there's an element of luck because it's obviously what the judge likes on the day when you're showing. Not like the show jumpers, they have to perform, whereas as showing, it's very much a judge's choice of the day. But yes, after my first fairly disastrous appearance at the Highland Show, I was given a mare by Nancy and Gordon McIntosh, who were up Glenesk, Dalbrack. They gave me a filly to break and back, and I took her there as a 4-year-old and was, I think, last. I took her back as a 5-year-old, and the judge said, "It's not your day, but it will be." And I think it was, I think she was 6, she's made 7, I think, and yes, she was Highland Show champion at 7. So I was very lucky. I got my first championship quite early on in my career.
Yes.
And the more I've worked with the ponies, the more I've learned. I keep learning that, they're all individual. Some mature that bit quicker than others, and others are just a bit slower. But, just take your time and just work hard, be disciplined, be consistent. And if you are good enough, if you are on the right tracks, you will get the rewards.
And you obviously have. Well done. Can you think back? Can you transport yourself back to that day when you won that very first red rosette, and try, if you're able to, describe to us how you felt?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at the pictures just recently because there's been no shows this year. There's been a lot of reminiscing, and yes, I can remember the excitement, the emotion, crying my eyes out and then thinking, oh no, I've got a red nose for pictures now. So it was a bit embarrassing. But yes, the whole excitement of it still doesn't leave you. Or even if you're, and as somebody said already, even if it's a blue rosette or a yellow rosette, it's still a Highland Show. To be placed. I always think if you get in the top 6 at the Highland Show, you're doing okay.
Well, absolutely, because I am a horse rider, but not anywhere near that sort of league. So it's absolutely a badge of honour and achievement. Now, I have 3 or 4 friends who show Highland ponies at the Highland Show, and whilst I've never been myself, because I'm probably not invited, I hear that there are some fairly fun parties that go on, particularly after you've won that red rosette or even a blue one.
It's funny. In the old days, there used to be very, very organised parties. Like if you were champion, you went and got yourself sorted up, and then everybody would be round that night and celebrate. And it was the second time I was champion. And I remember the owners, it was totally unexpected. And the owners went out straight to the supermarket, bought as much fizz and things as they could, came back, and we had the most amazing party in the old canvas huts. Nowadays, we had the big ceilidh, which was great fun, but it sadly got a little bit too big. So we're back to just parties in the boxes, and they can be quite impromptu now. You can be down there just chatting away to some friends, and the next thing, everybody's drawn their chairs up, the kist has been opened, whoever's box it is serves up whatever's in that box, and then somebody else will come along, and then and it's just, that party will grow, and then people will drift off. And before you know, you've got another party just down the way or up the way. And it's just such a lovely social atmosphere. That's the biggest single thing I think we've all missed this year. We have our box parties, and then we also have the fire out the barbecues and things out in the car park where a lot of us are staying in lorries and camper vans and things.
Now, this might be the most difficult question I'm going to ask you. When you go to the Highland Show, what's more important, the winning or the taking part?
Going back to what I said, it's the judge's choice in the day. It has to be the taking part. Winning's a bonus. And yeah, it's fantastic. But no, being part of the party, being part of the whole show, whether it's competing, whether it's grooming, whether it's judging, just being part of it is, to me, the biggest thing. If I do well, brilliant, great fun. But it's not the be-all and end-all.
Jo Jack, competitor, steward, judge, all with a passion for Highland ponies. Thanks to her for taking the time to speak with us.
Well, I'm Stephen Lohoar. I'm 32 years old. We live just a mile outside St Andrews. Yeah, we have an equestrian business where we buy and sell horses. We compete show jumping up to kind of 3-star Grand Prix level.
And I'm the older brother. I'm Angus Lohoar. I'm 35 years old. And of course, I'm the most important one in the business because I'm the older brother, you know. But we both work together really well. And to be fair, the one thing is it's very much a combined effort. We work as a good team because we both have very strong... what's the word?
I'd say like some of us, like I'd say I do slightly more of the competing side and Angus does more of the teaching and training, and it all kind of works as one, really.
Yeah, excellent. So a perfect family business, really. Yeah, and I have to say I'm an older sibling, so I totally get where you're coming from there, Angus. So has horses been part of your lives then since you were kind of knee-high to a grasshopper?
Not really, no. My mum and dad were farmers. They rode when they were kids and just at a very much got rough and ready on the farm, as kind of every farmer does. They jump on their ponies and canter through the woods kind of thing. And then we started developing a small livery yard business as one of my dad's developments. And then we started riding, and that was maybe when I was 13 years old. And then by the time I was 16, I'd competed at the Highland Show. So it kind of went from zero to a lot quite in quite a quick space of time.
Yeah. So, tell me about that first. You said you were 16 when you first went to the Highland Show. Tell me about that. How did it feel to be kind of going to the show within sort of the Scottish farming and equestrian world?
Yeah, absolutely. The Highland Show is the most special show to us anyway. It's been in our family, farming families for a few generations now. So since I've been born, I've been going to the Highland Show. First of all with the agricultural side, and then since I've probably been 16, I've been competed at the Highland Show every year ever since.
The atmosphere.
Oh, the atmosphere is unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Did that contribute in any way to your level of nervousness then the first time you competed? Because it is like a kind of, wow, I'm really here.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. Of course, I think I'd say it's not necessarily nerves. It's more the will to want to do well. Not only just for me, but obviously if we're riding your horse, you're kind of wanting the horse to do well and you believe in them and you want them to do kind of show off what they're made of. And one of my favourite classes of the show is the Andrew Black speed class in the main ring on the Friday afternoon. It has the most unbelievable atmosphere. God, there must be, 15,000-20,000 people watching on the Friday and Saturday afternoons, which is an unbelievable feeling. And first three riders go back in and can try and have the chance to beat their original time. And it's a table C speed class, so if you knock a fence down, you have to go faster. So the crowd really get behind them, and all the riders and the horses usually rise to the occasion. And I would say classes like them, they are very, very special to the show. And then obviously once you finish up, it's great to meet all your friends and family, and from cousins to riding friends and clients to sponsors. We're sponsored by, for example, Devico Saddles. They'll usually have a stand there. I think it generally is, the Highland Show's a special thing because it does every single element to what we're doing.
Yeah, and I guess I don't really like this word, but I guess networking kind of comes to mind. You know, you're both running a business, so it's really important for you to speak with and meet with, as you say, sponsors, people you have sold horses to, people you might sell horses to in the future. So I guess that's kind of a key part of it as well. It's just the great thing about the Highland Show is that you can quite often network with a glass of something in your hand at the same time.
Definitely, absolutely. It's we always have a running joke of how long will it take us to get from the show jumping collecting ring up to the members, and sometimes it can take an hour or two. So it's which is part of the parcel. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. Stephen, you mentioned the crowds. You know, the show jumping, but not just the show jumping. All of the horsey classes really do draw crowds. People love to go and watch horses. But how important do you think it is that the Highland Show and other regional and local shows have a key horsey element and sort of display equestrianism to the wider public? Yeah,
definitely. I said I kind of concentrate a little bit more. I've said a little bit about the sport element of it. So there's actual competition. It's not just that. As I said, there's friends of ours, like for example Ronnie Black at Clydesdales. They do a lot of showing. And there's people doing the working hunter classes, people doing lead rein ponies. So you can actually have kids as young as 4 and 5 competing there, up to people. I think there'll be some show jumping people in their 60s that are competing. So it does have such a diverse group of people. it's not just down to the wealth of people either. People can qualify on ponies that are worth hundreds of pounds, as well as maybe some of the Grand Prix jumping horses worth hundreds of thousands of pounds. So when you're competing at any discipline at the Highland Show, you know it's a special occasion.
Thanks also to the Lohoar brothers. Stephen mentioned Ronnie Black, veteran Clydesdale breeder, also from Fife. We've had a lot of people from Fife in this episode, actually. Not intentional, and we'll get back to some geographical diversity next time, I promise. Clydesdales are intrinsically linked with Scotland's heritage, and these iconic gentle giants have a special place in many people's hearts.
I'm Ronnie Black, Newton of Collessie, Ladybank, Fife, born 14/1/47. A farming partnership with my wife Dory and two boys, Mike and Pete. We breed Clydesdales. I've been around these horses all my life. My father had them, my grandfather had them. And we've met a lot of nice, lovely people who have bought animals from us, and it's a bit like a club. We keep in touch with these people that buy them from us and follow the thing through. Over the years, you've done extremely well, haven't you? Not just at the Highland Show, but other shows as well. But can you tell us a bit more about some of your wins and some of the ones that stick in your mind? Milestone ones would be when we won the Highland Show in our own name in 2004 with a filly called the Collessie Duchess. She was our first champion at the Highland. We'd done very well showing and producing for a family called Trotter from Ormiston Mains in East Lothian. Robert was a great supporter of us, and we looked after his horses with great success, winning the Highland in 1999 with Sophie, and then with Amelie. She was reserved as a yearling. Amelie was Sophie's daughter. Amelie came back as a 5-year-old and was champion for the second time, and her daughter Amber won after that, and then Amber became our property, and she produced Jennifer, and Jennifer won it as a yearling. If you were to close your eyes now and transport yourself back to 2004 and standing in the ring when you find out that you've won, what were those feelings like? What's going on inside your head and your heart? Well, it's just a bit of a buzz, isn't it? It's a pride thing. You've nurtured this animal from birth and brought it on. There's been a few hurdles to overcome. It's a bit like it's a bit like the Olympics. The Highland would be the Clydesdale Olympics, as it is for many other breeds, I'm sure. That's what we aim for. Is it the protection of the breed that's part of your motivation to carry on looking after these lovely animals? Well, that's a sideshow to having them and enjoying them, to be honest. But it is important to try and keep the thing alive. You know, when I was a child, these animals were all on farms. It was all farmers that had them. But today, a lot of different types of people who are very, very important for the breed have them. You know, the dyed-in-the-wool, the old Clydesdale guys are getting pretty scarce, to be honest. So, yeah, we do enjoy doing what we're doing, and hopefully we are helping the breed to stay afloat. If any of our listeners who aren't horsey might think, gosh, these Clydesdales are enormous and really quite intimidating, but I know that actually, yes, they are enormous, but intimidating they're not, because they're hugely good-natured, aren't they? Are they a lovely breed to be around? Yeah, they're characters in their own way, really. The tag is the gentle giant, and that's really what most of them are. They're a bit like people. We're not all perfect, but the nice ones are superb and they're intelligent. As would be evidenced by their working days, when they would, they do a lot by voice command, and they were easy to deal with. You can see these guys who do the driving of them, they've got terrific control of them. They do a lot by voice and just touch on the reins, and once they've got them properly schooled, they're very impressive. They certainly are. They're so... For being so big, they're so graceful and elegant to watch. I think it's really, really lovely. One of the mares that you have at the moment, Jennifer, I know that you and she were
modelled in 2017, and you took part in a photo shoot as the hero image of the Royal Highland Show 2017. Was that quite an honour to be involved in that?
Yeah, indeed it was. It was a great buzz as well. We've had a few buzzes with that Highland Show, and this was just another one. The whole thing took a bit of